Welcome into another week, gentlemen. I just want to start off the prelude with a little question for you all. So the top TV series of all time, the list has been released. Number 1, Breaking Bad. We seen it?
I've seen a little bit of it back in the day. I haven't watched it in its entirety, no.
I've watched 3 episodes, I
But
think.
have I seen
I feel
it?
like people
Yes.
always go, what are you doing, bro? Why are you not watched that? I haven't watched it. I'm sorry.
Game of Thrones, number 2. We've all seen that?
Seen that.
A little bit of it as well.
You haven't seen Game of Thrones?
I wasn't a big fan of like dragons and that, you know.
Grow up.
What?
Disgusting.
Chernobyl is the number 3 show of all time, TV series. It's most
Of all
popularity.
time?
Yeah.
I've watched Chernobyl. I think it's a great watch.
But it's based on true events, right?
It
So
is
that's
indeed.
why. There you go.
Educational, but
it's not chasing
3?
dragons.
Saying based on true events could be true for the next one too. Sopranos at 4.
Yeah.
Tony.
We like Sopranos.
Don't mind it.
And to round out the top 5, Band of Brothers.
Never watched Band of Brothers.
Never heard of that.
You've never seen Band of Brothers?
What's Band of Brothers? Shaun, I'm glad that you're
Boys.
not on this too, because I feel like this is normally me.
Boys!
See, now I'm starting to feel like a bit silly for not knowing what Band of
No,
Brothers is.
no. This
Everyone's
is
in the-
exciting. This means that you're about to watch a TV series that is well worth the watch. Band of Brothers?
Everyone's face in the room just looks disgusted at
Right,
us
yeah,
right now.
you guys
There's the shake of the head.
better at hiding your body language, boys.
What's
Boys.
it about? Actually, Shaun, guess what it's about?
I reckon it's some mates that like to do bad things and they stick together and just ride the lows and they ride the highs together.
It's probably not far off. All I can
Brook,
say.
what would you have said?
Jackson 5.
Okay.
It's in the name, brother.
You're-
Tito!
You're going to be disappointed then, Brook. But boys, enjoy watching Band of Brothers.
Yeah,
It's
right.
such a good show. Without
All
further
right.
ado, let's
Homework
get into
done.
it. Let's get into it.
Play On in partnership with BNZ.
Lamborghini. Look out for speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! Bang! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Elliott hits it up into the grandstand, and New Zealand are in the World Cup final!
What up, fam? Welcome back to another week of the Play On Show. It is brought to you by BNZ with the help of Media. To my right, the greatest sidestepper of all time, Matua Marc. What up, baby?
Oh yeah, what's up, Matua?
Yes!
Sidesteps every problem that we have.
I'll take that.
Shaun Johnson to my left. We are back for another week. Big week as well, guys. We've got 2 shows this week. We're going to do an NRL Grand Final show this week as well.
Yeah, we're releasing an NRL Grand Final. It would be rude not to. Everyone's been counting down to it. It's a great matchup. Probably one of the biggest matchups we'll ever get to see in our
Sink our
lifetime.
teeth into that.
Yeah.
Before we get to that, though, what is on today's show? Marc, we go back to the 5th and last with some headlines.
Yeah, we do. We're talking a bit of netball and the passing of one of the greats. If you grew up in my era, Dikembe Mutombo was a massive influence defensively in the NBA.
No.
yeah, that was him. Yeah.
Yep, we'll
Okay.
cover that off in the headlines.
I love that. Speaking of basketball, there's a lovely segue in there. NBA is back. It's not officially back just yet, but preseason starts on Saturday, so we got enough to talk about the NBA. Cannot wait for that. Shaun, I think we're going to look at SJ's property portfolio today. Is that right?
I heard.
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
I heard.
Didn't realise this was a financial property show.
We got enough time for that?
Oh, I'm sure we can squeeze that in.
Already been exposed enough.
72 houses we got to talk about there. What we
Oh,
know?
really? Apparently, I'm not doing enough with my money.
Hey, but before we get any further along with the show, Shaun, I just thought that, and Marc as well, it's funny how things can change in a year.
we
One
go.
year you're, brother. 1 year you're up for Dally M, the next you're not. But I mean, you know what? And when we recorded this, the Dally M's are happening a little bit later tonight, but we thought we'd get you, we'll get you something. You know, we thought we'd get you something. Now,
Yeah, do it.
Why?
Shaun, some people said that you didn't have the greatest statistical year this year. They would be wrong. Random stat guy.
Ah, yes.
Shout out to the random stat guy on Instagram. He has all your stats here. You actually placed 5th in the league this year, which is pretty bloody good. Pretty bloody good. So we would like to present you, congratulations. We proudly present this participation award to Shaun Johnson for being statistically the 5th best halfback in the NRL for 2024, according to some random stat guy.
Oh,
boy.
look at that.
Don't say we don't do anything for you.
Yeah, I won't. And I love that you guys signed it. I appreciate it. Brook, it also says your number 1 hater.
Yeah, I know that was a bit.
Okay, and
Absolutely
then
not.
Marc, just a fan. Hey, you know what? Something's better than nothing, boys.
That's it. Nathan Corbett, if you haven't followed Rando or Random Stats Guy on
Rando, I
Instagram,
like that.
he, I remember talking with him when he had probably 300 followers, and now he's up to 36,000.
36.5. I'm just having a
Yeah.
look.
Wow.
And like he just brings the most ridiculous stats out. I think one of the stats that he brought out last week was along the lines of Melbourne has never lost on this date ever before in their history and stuff like that. So like
is a
he
random
looks
stat. That's a good
really,
stat.
really deep into the stats and finds reasons for you to be able to back your team. It's great.
Can I go through Shaun's stats?
Go for it.
At number 5, Shaun, you played a grand total of 16 games this year.
Yeah.
ACC, they must have played a lot this
Yeah,
year.
they're still sending messages.
You were involved in 20 tries. Well done. Line breaks involved 19. That's not bad.
This is a going rate better than the games I've played. That's not bad. Yeah, I'll take that.
The one thing that really impressed me, and maybe this is low, but I feel like it's high, tackle efficiency. 83%, my boy.
No, that's low for me.
Oh, it's low.
It's low for me. I was a bit disappointed with that.
That's actually low. What do you
I
normally
love that
sit
you
at?
think it's high, though. That shows where
I was
we're
like,
at.
83. He's done really well this year. Go, my boy. Ben Hunt was 4. Nico Hines was 3. Daly Cherry Evans was 2. And obviously, we know who number 1 was. Jerome Hughes.
Yeah.
He was absolutely incredible. Wow, he broke the line 44 times.
Yeah.
Well, he had a good year. Oh, his tackle efficiency was 87. Okay,
There you
I
go.
see. Yeah, okay, I see what we're doing.
See what I'm saying
Yeah.
there? Hey, but no, I appreciate that. And it's not a bad way to go out. At least I didn't go out as the 16th best halfback.
True.
You know what I mean? I'm still top 5.
Well, you can do
Clubs
one
would
more
pay
year.
for that.
You can
Clubs
do
would
one more
pay for
year.
that.
I'm saying the Kiwis probably wouldn't mind having you there too.
I reckon we just get on with the show. What do we got next, lads? What do we got next?
Come on, brother.
Yeah, let's hit those headlines. At his 5th and last, we talked through the headlines from the sporting week, and of course, we've touched on it already. The Panthers taking on the Storm. That will be a game to watch. Panthers have advanced to the record 5th straight NRL final.
Bro, that's crazy.
They get to take on the mighty Prem's Melbourne Storm, 9:30 p.m. Sunday. And gentlemen, because of that, we do have a show being released tomorrow. It's our NRL Grand Final special.
Back in there tomorrow. I love that.
We can break that down. We can break that down a little further.
Yeah.
Was excited? Happy
Oh.
to see the 2 best teams in the final.
I reckon we can just leave this with that. Like, I reckon we should all strap ourselves in for what's going to be one of the best grand finals in history. You just got 2 red hot teams going at it, and that's enough, eh? That's enough around that. It's going to be cool to watch.
Can't wait, man. I know we're going to break it down more tomorrow. I'm like, who's riffing the game?
Ashley Klein.
How does
he
that
is.
make you feel?
Ashley Klein, good. He's one of the goodies. Well, like, when I say it, they're all good.
Yeah. Welcome over here, buddy.
No, I don't know them. You know, like, they're all, but I feel like he's got the runs on the board, and he's sort of like, I don't know if he's the face of the rest, but you sort of see a ref and you go, yeah, he's been around a little bit. It could have gone to a couple of them, but I think, yeah, he'll do a great job.
All right. I like that.
And he's the bloke that put the whistle away. I think it was, what match did we talk about where it was the fastest game? The Cowboys game?
Yes.
You know, where I sort of said, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was him riffing that day where it was like, all of a sudden, these infringements were no longer infringements, and let's just let the game flow. So let's hopefully see.
Let the boys play.
Yeah, let's hopefully see some running footy.
You want plenty of experience, right? The last thing you want is someone who gets overruled. With
Yeah,
the
the
whistle.
grand final cannot be about the referee. He's doing a good job if we don't talk about him.
I love that you
Yeah.
said that, Shaun. I think all refs need to understand the fact that no one paid. And refs, I was going to say I love you. I don't really, but you play an important part. No one paid to come and watch the ref.
Yeah, respectfully.
You know, for a story we
Respectfully.
said we were not going to talk much on, we've certainly talked on it. Let's
Yeah,
go
shut up,
through
my bad.
the Tony Jamison thriller that happened on Sunday. Now, as this being recorded, as of now, the Silver Ferns definitely need to have won to make sure that the series stays alive. As we've recorded this, obviously, this is going to be a really important one. But on Sunday, it was a 58-59 thriller. And Te Raupraha, or Te Raupraha Arena, the Silver Ferns need to bounce back to keep this game series alive. Now, as you're listening to this,
What up?
I reckon they have bounced back.
you'd like to think they have?
Yeah, the series is alive. But did you guys watch that? Like, the finish to that game was one of those ones. It's almost like sometimes netball can come down with pure luck and who has the ball at the right time.
How great.
It's crazy, eh? Like, they were going back and forth, and it just turned out that, yeah, the Roses had the possession just to close out the game and, yeah, go down there and put the ball in the hoop. And it's like that
what the
Ferns just
Mystics
didn't have
did.
enough. Yeah, it's what the Mystics 100%.
In the grand final. But
Yeah.
how good to watch that.
Yeah, it was a spectacle. So let's hope that we're having this conversation that the series is still alive.
Can I have a very slight moment before we move on? I think Netball New Zealand needs to do a much better job of helping these girls. It was on a Sunday night at 7:30 p.m. If you're going to do a Sunday game, make it 4.
Yeah.
Make it 3. Make it family friendly. It's tough. You're competing. The Breakers are playing at the same time. Help these girls get people there because it is an amazing product.
Yeah, back the sport, eh? Back the sport.
Back to sport indeed. Headline number 3, and Dikembe Mutombo had passed away during the week, age 58 years old. He became NBA Hall of Famer for keeping opponents out of the paint. You'll remember
No.
the wagging of the finger every time he blocked his shot. I think some of the most amazing tributes came through, not necessarily about his NBA career, which was hugely storied, but probably the work he did off the court as well. Mutombo built a tradition-free school where you could go along to the school, and that was in honour of his father, and that's made massive, strides in the African community. And he also built a hospital back in 1998 after the loss of his mother. Spent $15 million on that as a part of saving his money and then investing in the African scene as well, which was done through with players as well, and then obviously with healthcare. So a man, a myth, and an absolute legend.
Absolute legend. From what I heard as well, really sunk his teeth into this thing called NBA Cares, which is kind of touching on that, but he would travel around the world and go and find talent from all around the world who didn't necessarily have the chances to go to some of these big NBA camps. He was the guy leading that campaign.
Nice.
So shout out to an OG, a legend in Dikembe Mutombo.
Well said, lads. Well said.
My one for today, AFL. Lads. AFL was over the weekend. Shaun, I don't know if you watched it. Marc, you most definitely did watch it. For those who don't know, Marc and I, we placed down a little bet. The bet was, Marc, you want to say it since you made it?
No, I didn't even watch the game.
Well, let me jump in here then.
That was
Terrible
crazy.
game.
Bro, no,
Nah, it was terrible.
It was horrible
I
to
watched
watch.
it. It was terrible.
One team turned
You
up.
can't have a grand final like that. Let's hope the NRL isn't.
I do agree with that. For a spectacle
Oh,
point,
bro.
but because I had a bet on it, I'm going, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. But I did watch that, and my thought around it after was, okay, maybe not the most entertaining game, but AFL is doing something right. They have 120,000 people in the stands. Majority of their games are sold out. They have these huge games with a huge fan base, and it's literally 3 hours across the road from us, and we have nothing to do with it. And my thought is, why do they not market to New Zealand? What's the big thing about New Zealand not having any attachment? I don't know anyone who's grown up and gone, I love AFL. I'm watching AFL this weekend, but it is so close. And okay, maybe that wasn't the most exciting game in the world, but I saw that there was a chance for it to be an extremely exciting game itself. Why do we not get into it?
I think we're driven by other sports that just get the shine over it. And maybe there's no roots here. Like maybe there's no AFL roots that sort of come over here and offer a pathway. I'm not too sure, but you'd be probably surprised, bro. It is in the background. There are local competitions. I've got mates in my group chat that have played for years. As opposed to playing club rugby, they've gone and played club AFL.
So
There's a club
there.
competition. I think there's 5 or 6 teams in the Auckland comp. Yeah, and they get around, they kick goals, they play it's AFL. So it is here. It's just unbeknown to us. And I mean, like I've touched on, you're very basketball heavy, Brook, so it's got to open our eyes here, you know what I mean? And
And willing to after that. For those who haven't seen a game of AFL, I promise you, maybe invest in a team, watch it every Saturday or every other Saturday. It's a good watch of sport.
not just a good watch, sorry. For any young footy players out there, rugby league, soccer, whatever it is, if you want to learn how to kick a footy, go pick up an AFL ball and go learn their core fundamentals around ball drop, ball strike, position, stride, rhythm, everything, bro. It can apply, that can transfer across codes, that sport. So get out there and pick up a Steeden.
Yeah, there is an
not a
AFL.
Steeden, a Sharon.
There isn't,
A Sharon.
There is an AFL NZ.
Steeden's the league.
If you go to aflnz.co.nz, I believe they will be able to tell you exactly where all the leagues are. You can follow them on IG as well, but they're super active in the community. And
Okay, forgive me.
I also think that the same thing the reason why it is so popular is because they don't try to expand it. Too often, sports get into the trap of trying too hard to attract a whole new base of fans, whereas the AFL knows what its core is.
If it
and
ain't broke,
markets
don't
to
fix
it.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
100. I've got President's Cup. I want to switch it up. Back to golf, a sport that I have fallen in love with over the last few years. Oh, yeah, I've yelled that plenty of times. But President's Cup was on over the weekend. For those of you that aren't quite sure, that is when Team USA takes on the internationals. So pretty much the rest of the world, bar Europe. So a few Aussies, the Asian countries come together and take on the States in a format over 4 days where it's pretty much match play, team golf, closing out on the final day with a singles match of match play, which is, say if you and I were playing Brook, we wouldn't necessarily take into account, say I scored a 4, you scored a 3. So you birdied the hole, I parred the hole. That number doesn't really matter. You would just go 1 up. I could have a blowout, but the match could still be close. So it's an awesome format to watch. It allows the players to be more aggressive because they know, say, if they go for it and it doesn't come off, they're not leaving themselves in a vulnerable position where they might make a 6 or a 7. It's just they lose the hole.
And
So-
if it's 9-9, it comes down to, what do you call it, a hole-off?
Yeah, well, so pretty much it's a team sport. So you got 12 on each side, and it's first to win. I think it is like 14 points or something. And to be fair, the last few years USA have dominated it. USA go out on day 1, they go 5 up, so they win all 5 matches, I think, or all 6 matches, 6 points up.
Yeah.
Day 2, the international side comes out, clean sweeps them, so it's even going into the 3rd and 4th day. USA ends up getting up, but I loved it because you might have seen Live Golf. That's
Yeah,
sort
the
of the
money.
breakaway competition of the PGA. So golf's pretty formal. Don't show too much character on the course. All about punction, just like respect and, it's the gentleman's game. Liv sort of spiced it up for us young avid golfers. The President's Cup was almost like a mix of the two. So you had the PGA golfers, but then with a bit of Liv flavour of character and charisma. So it was almost like 2 teams just going at it, showing passion. And I just thought it was refreshing to watch. And I suggest that anyone that isn't into golf, go down this path of finding the President's Cup or Live Golf in particular, because there's other tournaments that are going to get you interested as well.
That's where you'll start.
Oh, that's where I'm starting. And I want to have some business meetings in that. I'm thinking like, man, President's Cup vibes. That's where I'm at. That'd be a cool place to go and watch some golf.
I like the idea too of the way that you explained, being able to risk it all, knowing full well you wouldn't go far behind if you're just going 1 up on the holes. That's a cool way of playing golf.
Yeah,
Be
so
creative.
you get some golfers that are maybe really good. We call it off the stick. So when you got to just play like stand up golf, and then you got golfers that are just better in format plays like match play. Where they're better at risking things and coming off with it as opposed to playing a little bit more, I guess, reserved in your traditional game. So it was really cool.
What are you playing off at the moment?
I'm off in 11, but that's going to come down. That's what I got.
Do you
That's
think
a start. That's a good starting launching pad. And just finally, let's move straight into the final story of this. Major League Baseball playoffs about to begin. That's in the wildcard section at the moment, but the power rankings are out, and we said it earlier, and we've talked about him earlier on the show as well. Shohei Ohtani has made the Los Angeles Dodgers the #1 side in the power rankings. Phillies at 3, New York Yankees, which Brook and I we've been to that
Incredible.
ground. We went there and watched the man who's making them look so good, Aaron Judge, play. So top 3 in the power rankings for those guys. They're all up and running, and we will keep an eye on that.
Who you got to win it, Marc?
I love the Shohei story. So
do I, man.
I want to see the Dodgers take it out.
Play on in partnership with BNZ.
Play on.
Family, I got to say, I'm guilty of being on my phone too much. But sometimes when you're on your phone too much, you get a clip that you can play out on the show. So we thought, let's do something, because we're on our phones a little bit too much, called social storage, where we all bring one clip from the week that caught our eyes. Maybe there's a conversation around it. It could be a highlight. Whatever it is, it's just something that we saw online this week that we go, I want to talk about that.
Interesting.
I want to start it this week.
What do you got?
I got billionaire athletes. Now, the clip that I saw was from a podcaster from a former NFL great. He got a little freaky a couple weeks ago on Instagram Live. We may have seen that. We may not have seen that. You don't see it, Shaun?
No, I didn't see that one.
Well, he went live. You couldn't see anything, but you could just hear the actions of some of the adult cuddles that he was doing.
Wow.
Surplus to requirement, that part of the story.
So
Don't
that's
need
the
it.
clip I would like to play. No, Uncle Shay Shay had a chat with Marc Cuban. Now, Marc Cuban, for those who don't know, is a billionaire. He's on Shark Tank, but he's also a part owner, or maybe the outright owner, of the Dallas Mavericks, an NBA team. He's been an incredible owner. He's been he kind of fronted the media a lot. He's an outgoing sort of owner. But this is him talking about the potential of NBA players becoming billionaire players with some of the contracts that are about to come out. Here we go.
When Luka's contract is up, he's going to have the biggest contract in NBA history.
For sure.
Do you believe we're going to get to a point in time, I don't know how soon, probably because of where it's going, that we're going to see an NBA player with $1 billion contract?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
$1 billion, Marc?
Yeah, but I mean, that presumes that TV keeps on going up the way it is.
Yeah.
But you're going to see $100 million a year here shortly.
Wow.
Because if the TV contract has 10% increases in the cap, the way the CBA works, right? And you saw Steph, had $62 million for 1 year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, when Luka and Tatum and all these guys, man, they're
Tatum
young.
Tatum just got what, like 400?
Something.
So Luka's about to get
a lot.
Which is crazy money.
I'm in the wrong sport, man.
It's
What are we
ridiculous.
doing down here?
And we're not far off it, because how he just talked about there with the TV contracts that are associated with the NBA. it's climbing and it's climbing and it's climbing. You have 2 people on teams making over $700 million on their contracts. These contracts are ridiculous. My worry is, what happens when they make more money than the owner?
Why shouldn't they though? Like, I'm gonna throw this out there. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna use a Frank energy moment.
Go on.
I'm gonna use my Frank
Go
on
on.
this. For too long, for far too long, those who have had the money to buy a franchise continue to make the money off those franchises. Whereas the real thing that we're learning as day in day we go in watching sports as sports fans, and this has just fired me up, right? It's the players
Get it, bro,
and their personalities that actually matter. No one knows the owner. No one sees the owner walking down the street and say, hey, can I sign this? Can you sign that? They're wearing the jersey that the owner's making money off, not the players making money off it. So it's about time that it actually spun around and we saw multi-million-dollar owners and multi-billion-dollar players, because it's their bodies that get put through the ringer.
It's their face.
It's their face. It's
their likability.
It's then the ones who lose their job if they get caught doing something in Bali. Like, there's so much that goes into this that I sit there and think to myself, for too long, the owners, and nothing pisses me off more when the owner walks up and grabs the championship after it's been won.
Yeah.
Like,
That does irk
get
me a
off
little
the
bit too, bro.
stage. Get off the stage.
That does irk me too. What I do think, though, and I'm going to be specific to the NBA, is when you're making more money than the owners and you're making all this money, do you play as hard as you can possibly play every single night? That's my only reservation about this. I agree with you. I think they should make as much money as they deserve, and whatever they sign for, that's how much they are worth. And if it's $1 billion, so be it. But if you're making this money, my only reservation, and we'll never know till we get to that point, is do you see that best performance every single night as a fan who spends your hard-earned money to see these guys play, especially when you don't have a whole bunch and you go, damn, I just wanted to see him play the best. And I don't know. Having more money, does that mean you play harder?
To be fair too, though, I do really like Marc Cuban, so I'm quite happy for him to be a billionaire and the players under him.
Well, there's no
Right.
reason why they can't all win, right?
That's it.
It doesn't matter if the player's earning more. Like, they're still going to be winning. Marc Cuban's going to be better off for having a $1 billion player.
Yeah.
That's that's how I view it. So
They think Luka's going to be the first. So there you go. Luka Doncic, when he signs that big one, I think it's in 2 years. Keep your eyes out on it, because he could have that B right next to it. The Billy is crazy, man.
Marc Cuban playing for him.
That's
I like
crazy.
that.
I'm so interested to get your guys' take on this clip. It's of a ex-NFL great. AFL great, sorry. An ex-AFL great who broke down the Swans' poor performance in the grand final. So you want to play it out before I say any more?
Let's do it.
Let's look at what will haunt the Sydney Swans, some contests that will haunt the Sydney Swans for the rest of their career. So here's Brodie Grundy, unforgivable by Grundy, and Big Hayden McLean was just as bad in the ruck, where getting ragdolled. So here's a contest. Dane Rampy's been a wonderful player for a long time. You don't get beaten like that in a 1v1 contest. This, McInerney, this is unforgivable. What is that?
That's bad.
That is as bad as it gets on grand final day. Errol Goulden on Ashcroft, just trailing in when the game's not on your terms, trailing in, letting Ashcroft kick a goal. Look at Blakey down here. Where's the touch? Poor grand final by Blakey. Didn't want to touch, didn't want to have body contact. So Rayner gets a run and jump at the footy like he wants to. Tom Papley, he's been in the face of everyone until grand final day, when he just coughs the ball up. The ball goes straight back down and results in a goal. Blakey, what sort of a tackle was that? He's got to live with this. They all have to.
Okay, Mark. All right, before I say my bit, can you guys offer me some perspective? Because I think you guys know what side of the fence I sit on. Anyone got anything to say? What does that make you feel watching that?
I mean, I think it's a big part of sport that we're moving away from, and I'm not saying it's probably a good thing that we move away from it, because I feel like there's a mass fan base that are so diehard that they need a spokesperson that's going to lash the players on their behalf and hold them to account. Here are these high-flying kind of players that, you know, that could steal your wife if they wanted to. You know, that's the confidence level I'm talking about when I'm talking about the people who are watching these games getting upset when a player actually loses a game. They're talking from a very non-confident area. So when you have a spokesperson, a mouthpiece in the media that can actually hold the players to account and say the feelings that you're feeling, it makes them feel vindicated, keeps them engaged in the game. Yes, he's been lashed, He's been told how I feel. Now I feel vindicated. That's what I think that place, that's instantly what I think when I see that kind of footage out on TV.
I don't think you're gonna like what I have to say here too, Shaun.
Go on.
I think that as a fan, as a consumer, especially a lot of us, you can see it. It's black and white. That's what we're thinking. He's gone out there and said what and I would imagine a lot of Sydney Swans fans have said during the game.
I was saying the same thing. I don't know enough about this sport.
maybe he was slightly aggressive with it. Maybe he could have worded it better. But I think fans aren't dumb. That's what they're saying. He's just reiterated what a lot of fans are saying.
And that probably to me right there is the worst part of it all. We're in a position of influence, and I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're a fan, if you're a sports commentator. If you think you can hold the players to account, you're kidding yourself. If you think that the players have watched that and gone, oh man, I disappointed him. Now I feel even more worse. If a fan thinks that, like, they don't care. That's your take on it. The players are already feeling bad enough. They already know they had the worst games of their lives. They've got to deal with it socially from these fans that Martu has alluded to. We don't need someone in position like that to make them feel vindicated. We need to help educate that there's a different way to deliver a message. There was a completely different way to highlight the parts that the Swans got wrong there. That bloke there, who is a apparent AFL great, has forgotten that he played the game. He's forgotten that he wasn't the perfect player. He better hope that he's never had a bad day in his life or never made a mistake in his life. He better hope he's won 10 grand finals. Like, you want to talk like that about people in the arena when one, from a fan base, you've never experienced it, and two, a position of power to help influence and show people that, hey, your frustrations can be pushed in a different direction. Like, that's the angle I'm coming from.
That's fair.
And to your point, Matua, to think that he thinks that he's holding these players to account by getting up there in studio wearing a suit and tie is so alarming to me that it actually makes me feel a bit sick.
This is beautiful. I think this whole thing is beautiful because you come from that perspective of you've been there. You have been the man in the arena. Where we come is he's saying what we're seeing. Well, and this is where the intersection is of fan, player, sports broadcaster. Because when I think about some of the greatest broadcasters, I like the Stephen A's. And he goes at people. He's direct with people. I've seen an interview where he did something and he went at Kobe. Kobe called him up. And it's kind of a similar way of doing it. We just don't really see it on this side of the world.
No, we don't. But we can't sit here and advocate for players' mental health and mental well-being if we're going to be okay with that sort of if that sort of coverage as well. That's all I'm going to say.
Absolutely, it's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword, So if I'm going to step into this space, I'm never going to forget that I was a player, that I've had bad days in the office, that I've made mistakes, that I've got the human element to it all. Those Swans boys will be feeling worse than anyone, is all I'm going to say. They will know exactly where they went wrong. They will know that. They've got to live with it for the rest of their life. To that point, he is not wrong. But there was a far different way to deliver that message.
I think that to me struck differently. Like, you're right. There is a different way of, you could use the educational tool of kind of like, what would have they done differently, or where were some things that, that didn't work, and here are some moments that, without having to single out the players and saying, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. Like, it was a very extreme version of, and I think if we're thinking about Stephen A. Smith and his takes in basketball, it's pretty similar. But what he gets away with is that American culture is very confrontational, and they get away with it because the players they will bring him up and say, "Hey, man."
And what he gets away with is that he never played the game.
True.
This bloke.
True.
Hey, he's played the game. He should understand. He should, but he's forgotten. So that's the difference.
You know why I love this is because this is a view that I'm not saying we here. I'm saying the general listenership of most sports don't really get the side of an athlete coming and going, hold on, this is how we feel when that stuff is happening. Yeah. We're always from this angle of he's saying what I'm feeling.
Hear me out on this last topic. If for some reason this weekend we get a game so lopsided, I will come in next week and break down why in a different manner to that.
Nice.
Okay? Let's hope it's the best game in history and it's close.
It won't be lopsided. It's going to be a draw. They're going to play 7 periods of extra time.
That's it, brother. But there is different ways to do it. That's all.
This was a this popped up on my Instagram. It's actually about one Shaun Johnson and talking about his finances, where a guy breaks down your finances.
I'm all
Shaun,
ears, brother. I'm all ears.
And gives you advice. Now, I want to know two things: A, had you seen it, and B, what you think of it. So let's have a quick listen now and see what he has to say.
Create a financial plan for Warriors star Shaun Johnson. Now, he unfortunately is retiring at the end of 2024.
I'm also looking for a job.
According to the public records, he's got 5 properties worth about $7 million in total, including 2 investments and the sweet holiday home in Mungafai that rents for like $1,200 a night. Now,
Worth
couple of things I'm
every
picking
dollar,
up.
I'll
Of
say
the
that.
$7 million in property, about $5 million is in lifestyle assets, so your own home and holiday home. I'd love to see some more investments in here to grow your wealth over the long term, and I'd probably be looking outside of Auckland and Northland because you've already got a lot of properties there.
That's a flex, though. That's a flex. I only do Auckland.
Shaun, like here's the thing that struck me. I would feel embarrassed if someone knew all my finances. So I don't know how you took it or how you felt or whether it is even true. But
Marc, our finance is very different than this. But I feel like you can see your dirty Andre. Like this is you.
Yeah,
this
hey,
is
boys, that's not all my finances. Nah, I'm not going to do that. Hey, like, I guess I'm probably a little bit more immune to it, which I don't know is necessarily a good thing. It's just the way I've grown up, probably, you know, obviously being in the public eye and just having everything out on show. Well, not everything, but most things. I got sent this by so many people that didn't sit comfortable with, and it is still a little bit somewhat uncomfortable, but everything that he said there, or the information he has gained, is actually public knowledge. So he hasn't done anything wrong here. He's growing a business. He's obviously got a business, and he's used me to generate conversation, which he's done. Look at what we're doing.
look at what we're doing.
But this is by no means financial advice to you listeners. But I found buying property in Auckland to be quite
lucrative.
To be quite high percentage. It was quite a secure thing for me to do. You know, over the last sort of 10, 13, 12, however many years it's been, Auckland's been the place to be.
See why you retired.
You know what I mean? So for me, that's what worked for me. Could I be doing more? 100%. But one thing I will say is I'm extremely proud of my property portfolio. I love the fact that I can go and see it. I know where it is. I don't want to be buying things in Hamilton or Christchurch or other areas that this bloke may have suggested, which
Hamilton's
to his
closer to
legs
That's crazy.
probably have some truth and some value to it. But Mungafai too, it's on Airbnb over the summer period. It might cost you up towards $2,000 a night, but
It's
get
worth
up
it,
there.
though.
It's worth a spot.
I could tell you that much for free. Also,
Yeah.
it'd be nice if you pay for something every now and then. But
Oh,
that's
here we
all
go.
right. It was $7 million.
Here we go. Hey, you know what?
Can't
though?
buy
I
a dinner.
might actually go see this guy because he does raise some valid points. And I'm always open to making money. So maybe we can do something where he puts his money where his mouth is about what I should do, and let's see the return I can get, eh?
Yeah. Let's make you more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Buy a dinner.
Play on in partnership with BNZ.
Play on.
I love we get to do the show because there's stories that I will see during the week that I've always wanted to talk about, but this seems like a perfect place to do it. This one here is Johnny Sexton versus Rieko Ioane. That's kind of what it is. It's a bit of a versus thing that we've got here. For those who don't know too much about it, Jonathan Sexton is a he's retired, but first five for Ireland's legend of Irish rugby. But he's just dropped the book. The book is called Obsessed, the autobiography of Johnny Sexton. But there's one part in here, which you can probably see on the Spotify if you're watching that right now, that has been a hot topic. It's been the point of conversation, seems to be the one thing out of this book that everyone's gravitating towards. It's about a conversation that happened at the end of the Rugby World Cup quarterfinal in 2003, Ireland versus New Zealand. 2023, sorry.
You go, mate.
We know how that story went. Close game. All Blacks end up winning. But there's a passage here that I'll actually read it out, and then we can talk off the back of it. But it says, I couldn't bring myself to watch the quarterfinal back. I don't think I ever will. I don't think I need to. I've mentally replayed every second over and over, Sexton wrote. It finishes with the same story every time. Ronan Kelleher still blows the whistle, or still plows, into Brodie Retallick and Sam Whitelock. Whitelock goes for the poach, clearly without releasing, but somehow Wayne Barnes awards him the penalty, even though it happened all right in front of his nose. And as I stand there, hands on hips, standing in disbelief at Barnes, Rieko Ioane still comes up to me and tells me, go back 10 meters. Which I imagine Rich was like, get back 10 meters. Johnny Sexton replies, huh? Reek says,
What's that X?
I don't know. Reek says, penalty, back 10. And then after Barnes blows the final whistle, he says, "Don't miss your flight tomorrow. Enjoy retirement. You word that rhymes with runs."
Yep.
That has been the hot topic of conversation around the sporting world, well, especially around New Zealand for the last week or so since this dropped. And I thought, one, do we even talk about it?
Nah, I reckon
Are we brave enough to go to maybe some of the places that we want to go with this? Two, how do we feel about it?
Wow. I'm watching the footage, and it's like there's obviously more to it, right? There's obviously more to it. This could have been brewing for years for Reeks and Sexton and the rivalry, and who knows? Who knows? But I will say, I don't know how I feel personally about it coming out in a book.
Oh, go on. That's not what I was thinking.
Yeah,
but
so
I haven't played it at the high level, so
I just think, I mean, hey, look, it could be marketing genius 101. Look, here we are talking about Johnny Sexton's book.
obsessed.
But I'm like, there's things that happen on the field that there's no consequence for Sexton to write this in his book. You know, there's not going to be a rebuttal. There's not going to be a reply. There's not going to be a game played where he's going to be involved. Am I right that he has retired, eh?
Yeah.
He's done.
He's done.
So he's not going to take the field again. So for him to come out and just air the laundry on an individual over something that's happened in 80 minutes without really giving any backstory to why this individual would say that to him, I feel like is like, man, that's probably a little bit more of a stain on you than anything, in my eyes.
Yeah.
And this is good for me because, hey, your boy might be doing a book too. So
you got a book.
I may be doing a book too. So I'm like, this is a little bit like, where do I want...
You have to throw in there why you took a swing at Thurston, you know? Or,
like where I want to go and what I find is of value, you know? But yeah, for me, I feel like...
Leave it between the lines?
Leave it between the lines, man. Especially if you're not going to go out there again and play.
Yeah.
And two, not give full context into why someone would randomly just say that to you.
I don't know how I feel about it. I think for me, I enjoy it.
I dig it.
I like knowing that there's a bit of villain in the All Blacks. And I don't know. Here's my question for All Black fans out there: are we ready to back a villain? Like, if that is in fact what Rieko said, and I'd like to think it is.
I don't think they are.
Are we mature enough to understand that a villain is a wonderful role to be playing? And if Rieko Ioane is that and did say that, I'm backing him 100%. Good on him. Good on him. I don't know. I don't know the context of it. It may have been, there may be more to this story, but in terms of saying don't miss your flight,
yeah,
like that's cool.
That's good. Hey, and Rex, if you're going to cop absolute backlash from the rugby world for this, come to league, my bro. You'll fit in perfectly. Hey, we love a villain.
I think we need it. I think Rugby New Zealand needs this more than anything. I think, and I don't want to take this because our web guy Nix was kind of talking about it as well. If you can market this, use this, All Blacks. Use this in any way, shape, or form that you can. Don't run from it. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't try and hide it. This is what happens in sports. You get out there. This is a gladiator sport, a warrior sport. You get to an end of an 80 minutes. I love trash talk. I learned Chinese once because we were going there all the time. Kwei tai ba. Kwei tai ba. That means go home in Chinese. Like, you learn this stuff.
That's crazy.
You have to do this stuff. It enhances it. When you're out there, I don't know how league is, Shaun, but I don't know if you guys talk smack too much. But in basketball, that's a game within the game.
Yeah. The thing is, though, with rugby, like, it's the gentleman's sport, as they always say. You know, at the end of the game, everyone shakes hands and has a beer. So this is the end of the game, and this is why I feel like it feels like a foul to a lot of people.
Still within the game, though.
The game has ended, though. We're all friends after that. That's the usual thing for rugby. So, and Rieko, the fake humble call. I thought the All Blacks are supposed to be humble people. You're fake humble, that kind of thing. I love the villain in this, though.
Yeah, but to what point can you market this also? It's come from a bloke who's retired.
True.
This is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's easy to say stuff when you're not having to go back into the arena.
It
now,
sounds-
if Sexton was coming over here, oh, yeah, you'd be running that bad boy, right? Well, I don't actually know if they would, but yeah, you would like to think they would because there is a story there. But man, a bit of spice in rugby.
I'll get
why
Reeks'
not?
face coming home.
Feels like Shaun's
Next time they play in
trying
Ireland.
to undercut the competition now when he releases his book. He wants to make sure that, Sexton should never have said that. You want a real read? You want a
Yeah.
good, solid read,
Yeah.
a wholesome read.
Come get to know what goes on behind the scenes here at Play On.
Won't talk bad about the players.
That'll be in my book.
Do your thing, Reeks. I love it.
Yeah, we're behind you.
Play on in partnership with BNZ.
Play on.
Oh, yep. Okay, another week. We're back for crowd surf. And you know, we're just going to go to one destination here today. All right? If you didn't see it, Play On Sports Show put up on our Instagram. Something off the back of last week's show, which decade had the greatest athletes, which we all went toe-to-toe in, right? We were all convinced we were right. So, I just thought we'd go to the comments section just to see who won.
Interesting.
Wait, one what?
The debate. Why, you guys got something to say? You're not happy with that?
You're fine, John.
Okay, I'll continue then. Don't let these guys get in the way. Now, what I'm going to do, just because I thought I was such a good guy, is I'm going to scroll, all right? We'll read some answers, and it's... Wow.
Don't lie.
Okay, what? Now you want to chime in?
You're telling half a story here. Sean went on his Instagram. Okay, I feel like I'm yelling. You're not going to get me. You're not going to get me. Sean went on his Instagram, posted what we did, and said, go comment SJ1 easy, and hit the 2010s.
Look, Marc, can we just bank that, please?
We're going to go ahead and bank
Yeah,
this.
we'll bank that. We don't need to go into
We
this.
don't need to go into
There's
okay.
no arguing there. Thank you, BNZ, for having my back. So as I was,
Damn, that's crazy. That was well played.
I'll continue here. A whole heap of comments. You guys all had your views, but at the end of the day, we just thought the 2010s won unanimously. So we'll leave it at that. I thought the boys put up a good fight. Because it was such a successful segment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll these, and I'm going to choose a winner. And this winner is going to get one of my playing jerseys.
So this isn't the winner of the actual... This is just a winner for you, right? Your personal winner because you got an army of followers who all jumped on.
Yeah.
Would we call them followers, Brook, or we call them sheep?
Whoa!
I don't want to say it out loud, man.
Oh, hey, you guys know what to do with that. You know what to do with that. All right. What we're going to do, guys, is we appreciate you jumping in the comments. Hey, my nephew's in the building.
He is. Yeah. Give it to someone else.
What we're going to do here is we are going to swipe these, and we're just going to choose a winner that's going to collect one of my playing jerseys. Hey, nonetheless, say, boys, we appreciate boys jumping over, showing love to our page, getting in the comment section, and hitting a follow.
I do appreciate it. How you went
follow.
about it.
What are we up to now? What are we up to on play? We're up to almost 30K.
Ooh,
We're up to
what up,
30K
man?
on Insta.
Would you like Uncle Sean's jersey?
Nah, you can't do that. You ain't going to get me. Here we
Would
go.
you like
Just
to
leave
say
it with
yes?
me. I'm just going to swipe. You guys have got this. It's happening right now. Swipe.
He doesn't
swipe.
love
Swipe.
That's
I love
crazy.
you, my Neff. I love
He doesn't
you, my
love
Neff.
you at all.
I love you, my Neff. Here we go.
You go to his
And
games.
the winner is... Swipe. Swipe.
Damn, how many were there?
There was
How
over
many
1,000
were?
comments here, bro.
Oh, my goodness.
There we go. We are going to go right here. Cameron Finlayson. Oh, no way. Cameron Finlayson, and his profile picture is actually of me too. Oh, I could have picked a better winner. Cameron, we will get in the DMs. We will get your address, and we will send you out a signed playing jersey of mine. Hey, thank you to everyone who jumped on. It was a bit of fun. Hey, that's what crowd surf's about, so stay. Hey, did
doesn't
we
love
come
you.
up with a name?
Well, I don't know. I think that the MVPs is great, but I'm open to conversation. If we all come with one each,
Nah, you know what? Like, when you did right, like, I'm happy with that. I feel like they're our MVPs.
The real MVPs.
The real MVPs. Is that what we can
Yeah.
call our
real
community?
MVPs.
Yeah. I like
All right. So, our MVPs, thank you. Hey, and we will never take for granted what you guys are doing for us in our community. So, we will see you next week. We will see you next week. We'll toss someone else up, and you guys jump in it, and we'll get this thing going.
Uncle doesn't love you.
Play on in partnership with BNZ.
Play on. Let's get ready for a sporting weekend. It's the weekend sports menu. And I will run through, just for you boys, thank you for coming into the restaurant, just what's on offer this sporting weekend. Let's start with the entrees. NBA preseason getting underway on Saturday.
Here we go, lads.
Got to get up early, 5 a.m. to watch the Celtics taking on the
5
Nuggets.
But don't play so early.
Farah Palmer Cup Premiership Finals are on Saturday, 1:05. Waikato will take on Canterbury. And Major League Baseball, the division playoffs begin on Sunday as well. Anything in particular takes your fancy on the agenda?
Wow, I want to say the NBA, but that's so early. And I also want to say Farah Palmer.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lock in the Farah Palmer, please.
Yeah. Well, if you're taking Farah Palmer, I might try a little bit of yours, but okay, maybe I'll go a bit of preseason. Let's start dialing into the NBA, I reckon.
Can't wait, man.
Yeah, man.
For those who are interested too, we will be doing a NBA fantasy league here with Play On. So some MVPs willing to join. And
how are we going to do that, Marc? Can we just have a real quick? What are we thinking? 10 teams, 12 teams?
I think 12-team league. That means there'll be 9 slots left by the time we jump in.
Oh yeah.
And we see if there's someone in the community that wants to put a prize up.
I know that
maybe a signed jersey. I don't know.
Fine, I'll sign one. I know I've completely switched on not wanting to do fantasy, and now I have watched NFL, and all I want to do is fantasy. Is it like we make a whole show out of it?
I reckon so. I reckon we
do that. Like
we do a draft. A
draft out of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Moving through to the main course, and you'll see only one thing on offer to this weekend.
Yeah.
It's the NRL Grand Final on Sunday, gentlemen. 9:30 p.m. Storm versus the Panthers. No further word needed.
Nah.
It is what
I'll
it
take
is.
that, hands down.
And if you want our complete breakdown, that's dropping tomorrow, right? We'll do it tomorrow?
We will.
Love
indeed.
that.
And finally, desserts, gentlemen. And we have WXV1 on Monday, 9 a.m. Black Ferns trying to bounce back. After losing to Ireland, they'll be taking on the world #1 team, the Red Roses of England. And of course, Heartland Championship continues on. Last final round, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Mid Canterbury host the wonderful, yet to win a game, Poverty Bay. The disrespect, $13.
I thought they were kind of doing
looking
after him there, to be honest.
$13 on Poverty Bay. Which one would you like to watch?
How much Midland Canterbury paying?
I think it's $1.02 or $1.03.
Yeah, wow.
Shaun, chuck the 7 houses on it. You'll be fine.
I'm going Black Ferns, please.
Nice
Go the
choice.
girls.
Just to spice it up, I'm going to see what Poverty Bay is really working with.
Yes!
Let me catch that game this weekend.
Finally, I don't need to do it again. Hey, whatever you choose to watch this weekend, enjoy. Always a pleasure.
Peace!
Lamborghini. Look out the speed! Shaun Johnson! Aguero! It's over! Pass is intercepted at the goal line.
In your life have you seen anything like that?
Elliott hits it over the grandstand, and New Zealand are in the World Cup final!
Play on.